Before we start, Facebook sucks. Really bad. Like, really, really bad. But Facebook has also managed to become the most popular social network in the world, with almost 3 billion monthly active users. That number already sounds crazy compared to the 8 billion humans on the planet. But if you look at internet user statistics, it gets even crazier. Looking at worldwide internet users, 5 billion, subtracting 1 billion internet users that don't have access to Facebook in China, we get 3 billion out of 4 billion global internet users are using Facebook regularly for something. That is absolutely crazy. Facebook shapes our political discourse, is the place where we find apartments, look for social events, and present ourselves to the world. Across the world. In some places, the combination of Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, all owned by Meta, simply is the internet. Facebook is one of the most influential institutions of our times. Do you think we can learn something here? Rhetorical question. Of course the answer is yes. So, how did Facebook do it? In early 2004, 5 Harvard undergrads, none of them more than 22 years old, thought it would be a good idea to create a universal online directory of Harvard students to give them the possibility to connect with others on campus. A 20-year-old Mark Zuckerberg coded a website within a month, and it was launched on February 4th, 2004. Within 24 hours, the Facebook had 1,200 users registered. Within 1 month, half of the Harvard undergraduate population was on there. But a site coded within a month definitely didn't get its users through its beautiful design or intelligently created features. These 5 guys didn't outmaneuver competitors due to their years of business experience. Being Harvard students, we can probably ascribe an above-average intelligence to them. But no matter how intelligent you are, it won't help you to get over 1,000 users for a completely new site within 24 hours. And neither will it help you to convince 75% of all internet users to use your platform. No. A 20-year-old Mark Zuckerberg and his dorm friends just offered the right thing to the right audience at the right time. A way to get to know people quickly and easily to college students, one of the most socially active demographics, at a time where internet users were skyrocketing and when wider broadband access enabled connection speeds sufficient to send images online, soon to be one of Facebook's most attractive features. And finally, they had the audacity to just do it. The Harvard staff was also planning to create a digital version of their printed Facebooks, guidebooks for freshmen at campus to help them get to know the important people. But they thought it would take a few years. And 6 days after Facebook launched, 3 Harvard seniors accused Zuckerberg of stealing their idea. They had planned to create something called Harvard Connection. But if it took Zuckerberg just 1 month to code the first version of Facebook, then why was his idea out earlier than the one of the seniors that surely had had this plan for more than a month? Youthful arrogance and a lack of experience in how difficult this should usually be probably played their part, and as we can see, in a pretty positive way. And this is what we can learn from Mark and his friends. If you have the right idea at the right time, it doesn't matter so much who you are, your characteristics, your age, or whatever. You can be the individual or group that catalyzes a societal potential that has been building for months, years, or decades, and give it shape, changing your community, your region, or the world in the process. Another great example for this is Greta Thunberg, a 15-year-old kid with Asperger's, daughter of a singer and an actor, who catalyzed young people's concern for their future and a movement that rocked public discourse all across Europe and the United States within months, starting in 2018. You might disagree with the impact their creations had on the world. Facebook's later growth is definitely also attributable to some very nasty business practices. But fact is, they changed the world and furthered humanity's exploration of what is possible. And that, maybe not in spite their youth, but because of it. Maybe a less controversial example. Have you ever heard of a group called The Beatles? They too were just some young 20-year-olds making music, playing at various bars, that suddenly created a global phenomenon that completely broke conceptions of how the world works for many people back then. And if you want to talk about Elvis Presley before them, he was 18 when he started publishing music, and in his mid-20s during his most successful years. Mary Shelley created Frankenstein, one of the classic horror stories of our civilization, in a friendly little competition between friends when she was 19. And the first fully electronic television set was imagined by Philo Taylor Farnsworth when he was 14 and then built and functioning when he was 21 in 1927. Accumulating experience over time allows you to combine more concepts, to develop more intricate theories, contemplate different outcomes, and make the best choice based on what's realistically possible. But that exactly can be the problem. The social movements, inventions, businesses, or art of the future have yet to be invented. They are in a certain way always unrealistic, not directly predictable as incremental progress on what has happened before. The lack of experience, the arrogance, the naivete that youth provides can be great assets in leaving the realistic behind and aiming for something truly worthwhile, or opening yourself up to the development of greatness if the possibility arises, no matter how unlikely it sounds. So, just because you are young does not mean that you can't have a massive impact on the world around you. Yes, all the figures named above had older mentors and teachers in their lives to help them along, and there's nothing wrong with that. But their youth was no impediment on their way to real impact on the world. Maybe it was even an advantage. And just the same is true for many other characteristics that you might see as an impediment. Stephen Hawking published his scientific theories by moving a cheek muscle because the rest of his body was paralyzed. Nothing but a cheek muscle. If you feel like you're too old, the current US president is 80 years old. And if you feel like you're not smart enough, well, the last US president could barely speak in whole sentences. We don't have to think of these people as role models. Many of them use tactics that we might find inexcusable to do what they did. But they show us what is possible. They show us that there has been someone in similar circumstances that has achieved great things and had a massive impact on their community around them. Your dreams might seem incredibly unlikely, but it was just as unlikely for them, and yet they managed to do it, so why not you? At least I would much rather live in a world where people often fail at doing something incredible than to live in a world where people frequently succeed at the mediocre.